Hey guys, oskar.goprimate here, and in this video I'm going to share with you my top 3 bodyweight glute exercises. So the first one is going to be step ups. Now you probably heard about this one before. It's very basic, nothing fancy here, but it's a very basic and fundamental exercise and also very functional. And the reason why it's very functional is because it's just a normal step you're taking, but just on an elevated surface. So same movement as if you walk up a flight of stairs, but this time the stairs are just going to be a bit steeper. So a very functional exercise for that reason. And the other reason why I really love this is because it's a unilateral exercise, which means we're going to be doing this on one leg at a time, and that's going to really force you to activate your stabilizing muscles around the knee, which is going to give you a really strong foundation to keep building on in the future. But also it's good for preventing knee injuries, because when you strengthen the stabilizing muscles at the same time, it's just good for your overall knee health as a knee injury prevention. So for those reasons, it's a very solid exercise. But it's probably one of my favorite glute building exercises because it's a compound movement, and there's a few tricks we can do to make it really target the glutes a lot. A trick we can do to activate the glutes even more is to simply bend forward from our hips. So that way you're gonna get a nice stretch in your glutes at the bottom position, and from there when you step up, really squeeze the glutes, have a full lockout at the end. This is the best way to do step ups, to really wanna target the glutes. So again, you bend forward from your hips, fold your upper body towards the working legs thigh basically, and that's how you can get the good stretch in there and get more range of motion for the glute basically. The key points to keep in mind when doing step ups is that you want to work towards floating up with the back leg. Work towards just putting as much load as you can on the working leg and having the back leg simply tap the ground and then float up. So basically it's just tapping a little bit and floating up, so you don't put much weight on it. And if you do that, what you're gonna notice it's actually a very hard exercise to do, because then you have constant tension building up in the muscle. The other thing you want to keep in mind is to, if you can, again, if you're a beginner it might be difficult to start with, but you want to work towards this direction to fine-tune the whole movement, is to push your knee out a little bit. And that's going to make it a lot harder, surprisingly, because it's going to make you feel it more in the glutes. So simply tilt the knee a little bit out, not excessively, but a little bit outwards, and you keep pushing out throughout the whole movement. Now it's a slight adjustment, but it's going to make it feel a lot more demanding, and also you're going to feel the glutes working a lot more. The other thing you want to keep in mind here is to really use the mind-muscle connection with the glutes. You want to meditate on the glutes here, on the muscle. So when you're at the bottom position, really use your mind-muscle connection to focus on squeezing the glute. Squeeze as long as you get a full lockout at the top, so full extension, and you release again. Another common mistake that people tend to make is that they rush through the movement. So on the way down you just collapse down. And if you're a beginner and that's your level, that's completely fine. But you want to work towards putting the brakes on the way down. Instead of collapsing down, it's a controlled movement. So on the way down, feel like you put the brakes on, control down, tap the foot, and up again. You can of course also do this weighted, so either with a weighted vest or just holding a kettlebell to your hand. There's another really cool thing you can do if you do this from home, which I highly recommend that you apply for just making the exercise more efficient. And that is that if you do this on the chair at home, you do it in front of a door frame. This way you can simply focus on doing the exercise and really focus on the muscle working and not think too much about your balance, because if you do it without any support, the balance also takes a bit of your mental capacity. So if you instead do it in front of a door frame with the chair positioned in front of it, you hold on to the door frame, and that way you can simply focus on just working the leg as much as you can and not think about your balance at all. So that's a really cool trick I noticed that makes it way more efficient. Exercise number 2 is going to be single leg hip thrust. Once again we're using a unilateral exercise here, which is going to be, again, you need a bit of balance and also stability, which is good for us in the long run. We get a really good and strong foundation from this. Basically you're going to be leaning your shoulder blades against a elevated surface, so it could be a bench, a park bench, or a couch at home, whichever you can find, and you're going to be simply lifting your hips up as high as you can, having a short squeeze and then releasing. The key things to keep in mind here that really make this exercise very efficient is to have a short squeeze at the top. So I will say have a 2-second squeeze at the top to really feel those glutes activating, and that's going to make it feel very effective for you in the glutes. But once again here we want to use the mind muscle connection as much as we can. Again, you want to meditate on the muscle here, so really focus on squeezing the glute as much as you can, all the way up, have a squeeze, and then release slowly. So again, mind muscle connection, I keep saying that many times, but that's very important, because it's not just what you do, but more it's how you do it. Because your body, again, it only speaks one language, and that's tension. And if you can create tension into your muscles, that's what they respond to. And the really big game changer here is the following thing. You want to focus on pushing the working leg's knee towards the ground. If you do that, then you're going to feel this exercise be a lot harder. You're also going to feel your glutes working way more. So it's a small adjustment in your focus and in your execution, but that slight adjustment is going to make a really big difference in how you feel your glutes working and how hard this exercise also feels. So if you may be at the point where you feel like this is too easy, then I challenge you to try this. Focus on pushing the knee towards the ground. Don't just go through the movement blindly, but focus specifically on pushing the knee to the ground. And that way you're going to feeling a big difference in how this feels. I saw this with people who are trained. In myself, it's a game changer. Like, simple thing, big difference. Exercise number 3 is going to be single leg glute bridges. Very similar to the previous one, but slightly different. In this case, you're going to be laying on flat ground. Lift your hips up as high as you can. Have a short squeeze and release. Try to think that there's a string pulling your hips up, and it's pulling your hips up as high as possible. The key things to keep in mind here are the exactly same as for the single leg hip thrust. I have a squeeze at the top. I will recommend around 2 seconds. It's a good one. Really use the mind muscle connection here. So really focus on squeezing the glute. Make sure the glute is the engine here. The last point here is, again, to really focus on pushing the working leg's knee towards the ground. If you do those 3 things, it's going to be a very effective exercise for you, and you will definitely notice stronger and also bigger glutes. One issue that might pop up when you do single leg glute bridges or single hip thrust is that you might feel it too much in your quads. Now, if that's the case, simply extend your leg a little bit. So put your foot further away from the rest of your body, and that way you're going to be feeling it less in your quads and more in your glutes, and also a bit more in your hamstrings. So basically, if your leg is a little bit straighter, it's going to be more hamstring. If your leg is more bent, it's going to be more quad focused. So depending on where you feel it, you can use that to adjust your foot positioning. You can find the right position that feels the best for you. That's all I'll share with you this time, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please give the video a like. It's highly appreciated, and subscribe to the channel for more training tips on how to get fit from home outdoors. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.